going to demonstrate using the oval cavity marvers. With these bead rollers, you make your foot just a little bit smaller than the cavity that you'll be working in. That will give you a nice puckered end. I've worked with them long enough, I can pretty much gauge how big I need to make the footprint without going directly to it to measure it. And I got that one pretty good. Build up your bead, making most of the glass, putting most of the glass in the center because it will be an oval shape. The one I'm doing today is the chunky version. There are 3 different sizes of chunky ovals on this marver. And they graduate in size proportionately. I'm testing my bead in the mold as I go along to figure out where I need to add glass to, on which side. As you twirl it, the glass that hits the cavity will cool, and you'll be able to see exactly where you need to add glass to fill out the shape. And when you add too much glass and it doesn't fit in the cavity, all of them have a shaping spot on the bottom, or you're just going to the next one up. When you're adding surface decoration, of course, it will stand out, so you just go into the next size up to flatten that out a little bit so you can fit it back into the cavity that you want to work with. Now I'm going to need to add a little bit to my ends. That middle part is pretty symmetrical at this point. Add a little bit to this end. Run it into a cavity that's just a little bigger to help shape that. Now I can get it into here. If you're going to be adding frit or decoration to it, you need to make it a little bit smaller than the cavity so you have room to fit it back in once the decoration is on. Heat up this end and droop it just a bit. Run it on the outside of the marver to square it off. And I'll do the same with the right side, just to get it evened off. Now I'll heat the whole thing again. Give it one final shaping. Most of the time with cavity marvers, you don't necessarily use the bottom of the cavity as your focal point for running the bead through it. You use this as your shaping part, the bottom of this rim of the cavity. That way you can see the bead as it shapes. Now I'm going to show you one final step you can do with the oval cavities. You've made a perfectly centered bead here. The hole is running pretty squarely down the center. So that means when you mash it, you have a pretty symmetrical tab to work with for adding surface decoration. And that's your ovals and your tab.